Have you ever had a moment when everything in your life felt uncertain? When you wondered, why is this happening to me? Maybe you worked hard for something but it didn't work out. Maybe someone you trusted hurt you. Or maybe, even though you are doing your best, life feels like it's standing still. If you've ever felt that way, you're not alone. Many people around the world have felt the same confusion, the same sadness, the same quiet question deep inside their heart. God, what is your plan for me? Today, we are going to talk about that question. We are going to explore what it means to trust that God has a bigger plan for you. And as we do, you'll practice your English fluency with real-life stories, easy vocabulary, and simple but powerful sentences you can repeat and remember. So take a deep breath, relax, and let's begin this beautiful journey together. Let's start with a story. Once there was a young woman named Anna. She dreamed of becoming a teacher. From the time she was a child, she loved helping her classmates learn. She believed that if she worked hard and stayed kind, life would reward her. But after she finished college, Anna couldn't find a job. She applied again and again. She prayed every night, but every time she hoped for good news, she received another rejection letter. At first, she felt strong, but slowly her heart grew heavy. She began to ask, God, why are you not helping me? Why are you letting me struggle? Have you ever asked that question too? Why God? Say it softly, why God? It's a simple question, but it carries a lot of emotion. Sometimes we ask it with tears. Sometimes we ask it with silence. And sometimes we stop asking because we think no one is listening. But here's the truth. God always listens. Always. Even when we don't hear his answer right away. Sometimes his silence means he is preparing something better, something we cannot yet see. Repeat this sentence with me slowly. God is preparing something better for me. Again, God is preparing something better for me. Now, let's go back to Anna's story. After months of disappointment, she decided to stop searching for teaching jobs. She felt lost, so she volunteered at a local children's home instead. She didn't earn much money, but she loved spending time with the children. Every day she read them stories, taught them songs, and helped them with their homework. Slowly, her heart began to heal. She laughed again. One day a visitor came to the home, a man who worked for an international charity. He was impressed by how Anna taught the children. He asked if she wanted to train teachers in rural schools around the world. It was the opportunity of her dreams, bigger than anything she had ever imagined. Anna realized something powerful that day. If she had gotten the first job she wanted, she would never have found the path that truly matched her heart. God's plan wasn't to make her wait for no reason. His plan was to prepare her for something greater. Can you feel the message here? Sometimes what feels like rejection is actually redirection. Repeat that sentence with me. Rejection is redirection. One more time. Rejection is redirection. When something doesn't go your way, don't think it's the end. Think of it as a turn, a new direction that will take you closer to where you are meant to be. Let's talk about this phrase. God has a bigger plan. What does bigger mean here? It doesn't only mean larger or greater. It means wiser, deeper, and more loving. God's plan includes lessons we must learn, people we must meet, and strength we must develop. Sometimes we can't understand it in the moment, but when we look back later, everything begins to make sense. Let's practice this idea with simple English sentences. Repeat after me. Everything happens for a reason. I don't understand now, but I will someday. God's plan is bigger than my plan. I trust him, even when I don't see the way. Beautiful. When you say these words, don't just repeat them. Feel them. Let them fill your heart with hope. Now imagine you're walking through a forest. The path is narrow. Trees surround you. The sunlight is soft, but you can't see very far ahead. You take one step, then another. Sometimes you see beautiful flowers on the side of the path. Other times you step into the mud. You can't see the end of the path, but you keep walking because you trust that it leads somewhere good. That's what faith feels like. You can't see the whole plan, but you keep moving forward step by step because you believe God knows the way. Say this with me. I trust the path, even when I can't see the destination. Again, I trust the path even when I can't see the destination. Trust is a small word, but it's powerful. It's the bridge between your pain and your purpose. It connects where you are to where you are meant to be. Every time you choose trust over fear, you grow stronger. Now let's take a short moment to think about your own life. Has there been a time when something didn't go the way you planned, but later, you realized it happened for a good reason? Maybe you lost a job but found a better one. Maybe a relationship ended, but it made space for someone kinder to enter your life. Or maybe you missed an opportunity, only to discover something even greater later on. Take a deep breath and whisper to yourself, it all happened for a reason. That's right. It all happened for a reason. When you live with faith, you don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to know what will happen next week or next year. All you need is trust. Trust that every step you take is part of something beautiful that's still unfolding. Let's learn some useful vocabulary from today's story. Plan. What you want to happen in the future. Trust. To believe that something or someone is good and reliable. Faith. Strong belief, especially when things are uncertain. Patience. The ability to wait calmly for something. Purpose. The reason something happens or exists. Now repeat this short paragraph after me slowly. I have faith. I trust God's plan. I know my purpose will become clear. I am patient, hopeful, and ready for what's coming. Excellent. You are doing great. Before we end this first part, let's go back to Anna for one last moment. She once cried every night asking, "Why me?" But now she smiles every morning saying, "Thank you for guiding me here." Her life didn't become easier, it became more meaningful. And that's what happens when you let go of fear and believe that God is leading you towards something bigger. So, if you're in a season of waiting, remember Anna's story. Remember that silence doesn't mean absence. It means preparation. God is preparing you, shaping you, strengthening you for something wonderful. Repeat this last line with me. God is preparing me for something wonderful, and believe it with your heart. Have you ever looked back at your life and realized that something you once thought was bad actually turned out to be good? Maybe you didn't get what you wanted, but later, you saw how that moment led you to something better. That's how God works, quietly, perfectly, and sometimes mysteriously. His plan unfolds like the sunrise, slowly at first, and then suddenly everything becomes bright. Let's begin with another story, one that teaches us about trust, patience, and hope. There was a man named Daniel. He was hardworking, honest, and kind. For many years, he dreamed of starting his own small business. He saved every coin he could, skipping luxuries so he could build his dream. Finally, when he felt ready, he opened a small bakery in his town. For the first few weeks, things went well. The smell of fresh bread filled the air. Customers smiled as they tasted his cakes. Daniel thought, "This is it. This is what I was meant to do." But soon, things changed. A big bakery opened across the street, with fancy machines and bright signs. Slowly, Daniel's customers stopped coming. His savings disappeared, and his dream began to crumble. Every night he prayed and asked, "God, why did you let me fail? I worked so hard. I tried to do everything right." One evening, he was cleaning his empty bakery when a little girl walked in. She was poor and looked hungry. She asked shyly, "Do you have any bread?" Daniel looked at the few pieces left and said, "Yes, take it." The girl smiled, thanked him, and left. The next day, the same girl came again, this time with her mother. Her mother had tears in her eyes. She said, "Sir, thank you for feeding my daughter yesterday. My husband is sick and we have no money for food. You gave us hope." Daniel felt something warm inside him, something he hadn't felt in weeks. He realized that even though his business was small, he could still make a difference. He began baking for the poor in his neighborhood, giving bread to families who couldn't afford to buy it. Word spread, and soon volunteers came to help him. A local charity noticed his kindness and offered to sponsor his bakery to serve more people. In time, Daniel's little shop became a community kitchen, feeding hundreds of people every week. Daniel finally understood. His bakery wasn't meant to make him rich. It was meant to help him serve. God's plan wasn't to make him fail. It was to make him fulfill a bigger purpose. Take a deep breath and repeat this with me. God's purpose for me is bigger than my plans. Again, God's purpose for me is bigger than my plans. Do you see the lesson here? Sometimes what feels like failure is actually transformation. You're not losing. You're learning. You're growing into the person who can handle the blessings that are coming your way. Let's practice some sentences you can use to express this idea in English. I didn't fail. I learned a lesson. God is teaching me something important. Every challenge helps me grow stronger. I am becoming who I am meant to be. Say them aloud slowly. Feel the power behind the words. Repeat this sentence. I don't see the path, but I trust the guide. Beautiful. Faith is like a seed. When you plant it, you don't see anything right away. The seed is hidden underground. But with time, with patience, with care, it grows into something beautiful. That's how God's plan grows too. Slowly, silently, but surely. Let's practice some useful vocabulary and phrases. Seed. Something small that can grow into something big. Patience. The ability to wait without losing hope. Transformation. A big change, often for the better. Purpose. The reason for something. Faith. Believing in something you cannot see. Now repeat this short paragraph after me. I am patient. I believe in my journey. I know that my faith will grow stronger. I trust God's timing. Excellent. Timing, and that's another important word. We often want things to happen fast, but God's timing is perfect. Sometimes He delays things because He knows we're not ready yet. Maybe there's something we need to learn first. Maybe there's someone we need to meet. Or maybe there's something better waiting just around the corner. Have you ever missed a bus or a train and later realized it helped you avoid an accident or meet someone special? That's God's timing. It may not always make sense, but it's always right. Let's repeat this. God's timing is perfect. Again, God's timing is perfect. Now let's practice a short dialogue to help you speak more fluently. I feel like my life is not moving forward. Be patient. Maybe God is preparing something better, but I've been waiting for so long. Remember, God's timing is perfect. Trust the process. Good. Practice that with a friend or repeat both parts aloud. Speaking of patience, let me tell you another small story. A real one this time. There was a man who planted bamboo seeds. Every day he watered the soil, but nothing grew. A month passed. Then 6 months. Then a year. Still nothing came out of the ground. His neighbors laughed at him. You're wasting your time, they said. But he didn't stop. He kept watering. In the 5th year, a small sprout appeared. Within 6 weeks, that sprout grew over 80 feet tall. Do you know why? Because during those 5 years, the bamboo was growing strong roots underground. Roots deep enough to support its tall growth later. That's exactly what happens in our lives. Sometimes you feel like nothing is changing, but inside you, something is growing. Your strength, your character, your wisdom. God is preparing your roots. Repeat after me, God is preparing my roots. Again, God is preparing my roots. When you face difficulties, don't think I'm stuck. Instead, think, I'm being strengthened. Say it now, I'm being strengthened. Beautiful. Every storm you face teaches you something. Every delay shapes you. Every disappointment builds you. And when the right time comes, you'll rise, tall, strong, and ready. Just like that bamboo. So if you're waiting for a dream to come true, keep believing. Keep doing good, keep learning, keep speaking positive words, and keep practicing your English. because every word you learn today prepares you for the future you're praying for. Say this with me slowly. I am ready for the future. I am learning every day. I believe that God is working in my life perfect. Before we end this section, remember Daniel and his bakery. Remember the bamboo that grew after years of silence. Their stories remind us that God's plan may be invisible at first, but it's never absent. It's working quietly beneath the surface. Maybe you can't see it yet. Maybe you feel tired, but don't give up. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared for something amazing. Repeat this final affirmation. I am not forgotten. God is preparing me for something amazing, and believe every word. Sometimes when life feels heavy, it's not because God is punishing us. It's because He's shaping us. Think about how a diamond is formed. It begins as a piece of coal, dark and ordinary, but under pressure it becomes something strong and beautiful. The same happens to us. Every challenge, every disappointment, every delay, they are all pressures that make us shine brighter when the right moment comes. Let me tell you a story that shows this truth clearly. There was a young man named Omar. He wanted to be a musician. Since childhood, he loved music. The rhythm, the melody, the feeling it gave him. He dreamed of performing on stage and touching people's hearts with his songs. But his parents didn't support him. They wanted him to be an engineer. Music won't feed you, his father said. It's not a real career. Still, Omar didn't give up. He studied engineering to make his parents happy, but he continued writing songs in secret. When he finally finished university, he got an office job. It paid the bills, but it didn't feed his soul. Every day he sat at his desk staring at numbers, feeling emptier and emptier inside. One night after a long day, he came home and picked up his guitar. He played a song he had written about his struggles, his dreams, and his hope that God still had a plan for him. He recorded it on his phone and posted it online, not expecting anything. The next morning, he woke up to hundreds of messages. People were saying, "Your song gave me hope. I was about to give up, but your words helped me." Within days, his song went viral. Music producers started contacting him. His life changed overnight. But what changed him the most wasn't fame. It was the understanding that even during his darkest days, God had been preparing him. He needed to go through rejection and emptiness to find his true message, to write songs that touched people's hearts. If everything had gone smoothly, he might have written music, but it wouldn't have had the same depth or emotion. The pain gave his purpose power. Repeat this sentence. My pain gives my purpose power. Again, my pain gives my purpose power. When you face difficult times, remember Omar's story. Don't let pain make you bitter. Let it make you better. Let it refine you, not define you. Say this aloud. Pain refines me. It doesn't define me. Beautiful. Now let's take a short moment to practice speaking and listening. Imagine someone asks you, "Why do you still believe when things are so hard?" You can answer like this: "Because I know every challenge has a purpose. I believe that God is shaping me into someone stronger." Say that again with confidence. You're not just learning English. You're building a mindset that will carry you through anything. Now, let's learn some vocabulary and expressions from this story. Pressure. A difficult situation that tests your strength. Purpose, the reason why something happens. Refine, to make something pure or better through difficulty. Faith, belief without proof. So be the feeling that something good is coming. Repeat this short paragraph after me. I have faith in my journey. I know the pressure I feel today will help me grow tomorrow. My hope is stronger than my fear. Excellent. You're improving not just your English, but your heart as well. Now let's talk about trusting the process. Sometimes we want instant results. We want answers now, but growth takes time. Think about a tree again. When you plant it, you can't force it to grow faster by shouting at it or pulling on its branches. You have to water it, give it sunlight, and wait. In the same way, we have to trust God's process, the way He works in silence. Repeat this with me. I trust the process. Again, I trust the process. Trusting the process means doing your best every day, even when you can't see results yet. It means showing up, working hard, and keeping your faith strong. Because one day, you'll look back and realize every small step mattered. Let's do a quick exercise for fluency. I'll say a line and you repeat it after me. I don't have to see everything to believe. God is working behind the scenes. My waiting time is not wasted time. Every step I take brings me closer to my destiny. Perfect. Now let's think about the word destiny. It means the life that is meant for you, the path designed by God. Sometimes destiny doesn't look like what we expected, but when you finally get there, you realize it was right all along. For example, think about people who lost something, a job, a relationship, or a dream, only to find something far better later. That's destiny in action. It's not luck. It's divine timing. Say this with me. What is meant for me will find me. Again, what is meant for me will find me. Good. Now imagine you are walking through a fog. You can't see very far, but you keep moving forward because you trust that the road is still there. That's how faith feels. You don't see everything clearly, but you walk anyway, one step at a time. Let's practice this. I walk by faith, not by sight. One more time, I walk by faith, not by sight. Beautifully said. There's another story, short but powerful, about a sculptor. He was carving a statue from a large block of marble. A boy passed by and asked, "Why are you hitting that rock?" The sculptor smiled and said, "Because inside this rock, there's an angel waiting to be free." The boy looked confused, but months later, when the statue was finished, he understood. You see, the sculptor didn't just see a rock, and he saw potential. And that's how God sees you. You may think you're broken or imperfect, but he sees something beautiful inside you. Every challenge, every problem, every heartbreak, it's just part of the carving process. He's shaping you into something extraordinary. Say this with me. God is shaping me into something beautiful. Again, God is shaping me into something beautiful. Whenever you feel like you're being broken, remember, you're being shaped. You're becoming who you're meant to be. Let's add a few more practice sentences for your English fluency. Every challenge makes me wiser. Every delay teaches me patience. Every difficulty strengthens my faith. Every moment of pain prepares me for joy. Sometimes when life slows down, we feel forgotten. We look around and see other people moving ahead, getting jobs, starting families, reaching goals. And we think, what about me? It's easy to feel left behind. But the truth is, you're not behind. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. God doesn't work with clocks and calendars. He works with purpose. Say this with me, I am not late. I am right on time in God's plan. Again, I am right on time in God's plan. There was a woman named Clara who dreamed of becoming a writer. Since childhood, she loved stories. She used to fill her notebooks with poems and short tales. But when she grew older, life got busy. She had to work, pay bills, and take care of her family. Her dream slowly faded into the background. Years passed. One day, when Clara was 45, she lost her job. At first, she was terrified. She didn't know what to do next. For weeks, she searched for work but found nothing. Then one evening, while cleaning her attic, she found an old notebook, the one she used when she was young. As she flipped through the pages, tears filled her eyes. She had forgotten how much she loved writing. That night, she decided to write again. At first, her words were rusty, awkward, uncertain. But she kept writing. Every morning, she woke up early, sat by the window, and poured her heart onto the page. She didn't write for fame or money. She wrote to heal. After a few months, she shared one of her stories online. People loved it. They said, "Your words make me feel understood." Soon she started writing more. A publisher discovered her work, and within a year she released her first book. It became a bestseller. When she spoke at her book launch, she said something beautiful. "If I had succeeded earlier, I wouldn't have had the same wisdom, the same compassion. My waiting years were not wasted. They were my preparation. Repeat that sentence with me. My waiting years are my preparation. Again, my waiting years are my preparation. You see, sometimes God keeps us waiting because He's developing our character. He's teaching us patience, humility, and gratitude. Without those lessons, we wouldn't be ready for the blessings He wants to give us. Say this: I am being prepared for something great. Now, let's practice a few sentences together for fluency and confidence. I am patient with my journey. I believe everything is happening at the right time. Waiting doesn't mean nothing is happening. God is working even when I can't see it. Perfect, let's talk about patience a bit more. Many people think patience means doing nothing. But true patience means trusting while continuing to move forward. It means working, growing, learning, and loving while you wait. Imagine a farmer. He plants seeds in the soil and then waits. But while he waits, he doesn't just sit still. He waters the soil, removes weeds, protects the plants, and prepares for harvest. He knows that the crops will grow when the time is right. That's how we should live. Active patience. Repeat after me. I practice active patience. Again, I practice active patience. Now let's learn some useful vocabulary and phrases. Harvest. The time when you gather the results of your hard work. Preparation. The process of getting ready for something. Patience. Staying calm while waiting. Gratitude. The feeling of being thankful. Growth. Improvement or positive change. Let's use these words in a small paragraph. Repeat after me slowly. I am growing every day. My patience is preparing me for my harvest. I choose gratitude and trust God's plan. Wonderful. Now, here's a short real-life story about gratitude. There was once a man who always complained. Every morning he said, "My life is so hard. Nothing good ever happens." One day, his friend gave him a small notebook and said, "Write 3 things you're thankful for every day." At first, the man rolled his eyes, but he started writing. On the first day, he wrote, "I woke up." On the second day, "I have food to eat." On the third, "I have one good friend." Day by day, his list grew. Weeks later, he noticed something surprising. He was happier. His life hadn't changed, but his heart had. He realized that gratitude doesn't change your situation. Changes how you see it. Say this: gratitude changes how I see life. Again, gratitude changes how I see life. Sometimes when we thank God for the little things, He trusts us with bigger ones. Gratitude opens doors. It changes energy. It creates miracles. Let's practice this dialogue to build your speaking skill. I feel like nothing is working. Try focusing on what's already good. Like what? You're breathing, you're learning, and you're still here. That's a blessing. Good. Keep that attitude wherever you go. Now let's talk about comparison. Comparing yourself to others is one of the fastest ways to lose peace. You might look at someone else and think, they're more successful than me. But remember, everyone's path is different. The timing, the lessons, and the purpose are unique. God is writing a different story for each of us. Repeat after me. I don't compare my journey to others. My story is my own. God's plan for me is unique. Excellent. Here's a simple exercise. Think of one person you often compare yourself to. Maybe a friend, a coworker, or someone online. Now say quietly, their success doesn't take away mine. Because it doesn't. God's blessings are not limited. There's enough grace, love, and opportunity for everyone. Say this again. There is enough for everyone. Now let's go back to Clara, the writer. She once said, I stopped comparing when I realized I'm not in competition with anyone. I'm in cooperation with God. Isn't that beautiful? Repeat that sentence with me. I'm not in competition with anyone. I'm in cooperation with God. So if you're walking slowly, don't worry. If others seem ahead, don't panic. You are not behind. You're being guided. Let's take a moment to breathe deeply and repeat these affirmations slowly, one by one. I trust God's timing. I'm patient with myself. I celebrate others without losing my peace. My story is unfolding perfectly. Lovely. Now let's practice a bit of pronunciation. Say these pairs of words clearly and slowly. Plan, purpose. Wait, work, faith, fear, grow, glow, trust, time. Beautiful pronunciation helps your words carry more confidence, just like faith helps your heart carry more peace. Before we finish this section, remember that even when nothing seems to be happening, your story is still moving forward. God is arranging things in ways you can't imagine. The right people, opportunities, and moments are already being prepared for you. Say this final affirmation with me. I will stop rushing. I will stop comparing. I will trust God's timing. My waiting is not wasted. Believe it deeply because every second of your journey matters, even the slow ones. Have you ever noticed how sometimes life's greatest lessons come during life's hardest moments? We don't grow much when everything is easy. We grow when we face challenges, when we have to trust, even when we can't see the way. Pain pushes us, faith pulls us, and together they help us become the person we were meant to be. Say this with me. Pain pushes me, faith pulls me. Again, pain pushes me, faith pulls me. There was a young woman named Sophia. She dreamed of traveling the world and helping people. She wanted to work for an international charity, but her family was poor. They could barely afford food, let alone education. Still, Sophia believed. She studied hard, worked part-time jobs, and saved every little coin she could. But just when she got accepted into a university, her father fell ill. She had to use all her savings to pay for his treatment. Her dream vanished in a moment. For months, she felt angry and lost. She said, "God, why do you give me dreams that I can't reach?" But even in her sadness, she continued helping her father. She cooked, cleaned, and prayed every night. Then one evening, her neighbor came to visit. He was part of a small community organization that helped poor families. He saw how kind and hardworking Sophia was and invited her to join their team as a volunteer. At first, it was simple work, organizing donations, delivering food. But over time, Sophia learned leadership skills, made connections, and discovered her true passion. A few years later, an international charity partnered with her organization and offered her a job. The dream she thought she had lost came back, but this time she was ready for it. Sophia smiled and said, "Now I understand. God didn't take my dream away. He prepared me for it." Repeat that sentence. God didn't take my dream away. He prepared me for it. Again, He prepared me for it. Sometimes we think God's no means the end. But it's not no, it's not yet, it's wait. I'm working on something better. Say this, it's not no, it's not yet. Beautiful. Let's learn some new words. Delay. Something that takes longer than expected. Purpose, the reason something happens. Growth, becoming stronger or wiser. Faith, believing even when you can't see. Blessing, a gift or good thing from God. Now repeat this paragraph after me slowly. Delays are not denials. Every delay has a purpose. My growth is happening quietly, and my blessings are on their way. Excellent. Do you remember how we talked about the bamboo in section 2? It grows underground for years before it rises high. Sophia's story is just like that. She was growing roots, patience, strength, humility. When the time came, she rose tall. Sometimes God hides you to prepare you. When you feel unseen, it doesn't mean you're unworthy. It means you're being shaped in secret, like a seed in the soil. Say this, God is shaping me in secret. Now let's talk about a powerful truth. Faith over fear. Fear says, what if I fail? Faith says, what if I fly? Fear focuses on problems. Faith focuses on promises. When you choose faith, your words, your thoughts, and your actions begin to change. Let's practice speaking with faith. Repeat after me. I can handle what's in front of me. I believe something good is coming. I trust that everything is working for my good. I walk by faith, not by sight. Perfect. Faith also means forgiving, not just others, but yourself. Many people carry guilt from the past. They think, I made mistakes, so maybe I don't deserve good things. But God's plan is full of grace. He doesn't look at your past. He looks at your potential. Say this softly. I forgive myself for my past. Now again, I am free to begin again. Good. Remember this. When you let go of guilt, you make space for growth. Let's learn a few more useful words. Grace, kindness that you receive even when you don't deserve it. Forgive, to let go of anger or blame. New way to start again or feel fresh. Peace, a calm feeling inside. Repeat after me. I live with grace. I forgive and let go. My heart is full of peace, lovely. Now here's a short story about a man named Liam. He used to blame himself for every bad thing that happened. When his business failed, he said, it's all my fault. When a relationship ended, he said, I'll never be good enough. He lived in guilt for years. One day, an old friend told him, Liam, you can't move forward while looking back. Those words changed him. He realized that holding on to guilt was like carrying a heavy backpack everywhere he went. So he made a decision. He forgave himself. He started fresh. He applied for new opportunities, rebuilt his relationships, and little by little, his joy returned. Repeat this sentence. I can't move forward while looking back. Again, I'm moving forward now. Yes, you are. Let's take a small English fluency exercise. I'll say a sentence and you repeat it with emotion. I am stronger than I think. I am learning from my past. I'm walking toward my purpose. God's plan for me is full of hope. That's the energy of faith, strong, gentle, and steady. Now think about the word hope. Hope is like light in a dark tunnel. Even when you can't see the end, that small light keeps you moving forward. You only need a little hope to keep going. Say this, hope keeps me moving forward. Whenever you feel tired, whisper that to yourself. Let it remind you that even the smallest spark can guide you through the night. Let's talk about gratitude again, because gratitude and faith walk together. When you thank God for what you have, you attract more reasons to be thankful. Even in difficulty, there's always something to appreciate. Your breath, your loved ones, your lessons, your strength. Say this with me slowly. I am thankful for my journey. I am thankful for my lessons. I am thankful for what's coming. Beautiful. Gratitude is like a magnet for blessings. The more thankful you are, the more good things flow into your life. Now let's imagine this moment together. You're standing at the edge of a mountain looking at the sky. The wind is strong, the path behind you is long, and the future feels uncertain. But you smile. Why? Because you know you didn't come this far just to stop here. You've grown, you've learned, and you've trusted. And now you're ready for what's next. Say this affirmation with courage. I didn't come this far to give up now. Again, I'm ready for what's next. That's right. You are ready. Before we end this section, I want you to remember 3 simple truths. First, God's plan is not always visible, but it's always active. Second, delays are not denials, they are directions. And third, every single step of your journey matters, even the painful ones. Repeat these lines slowly. God's plan is active, even when I can't see it. Delays are directions. Every step matters. You are doing incredible work, not only learning English, but also building faith, strength, and peace within your heart. Remember, Sophia's story teaches us that dreams delayed are not dreams denied. Sometimes you must go through pain to develop purpose. Sometimes you must lose something to gain something greater. And sometimes you must wait to understand what you're truly made for. So wherever you are in your journey, don't give up. Keep believing, keep learning, and keep moving. One step, one prayer, one day at a time. Repeat this final line for today. I am walking in faith, trusting God's bigger plan for me. Say it again, louder this time. I am walking in faith, trusting God's bigger plan for me. And believe it. because your story is still being written. And the best chapters are yet to come. When you wake up each morning, what's the first thought that enters your mind? Is it fear, worry, or hope? The way you start your day can change everything. If you begin with gratitude and faith, your entire day flows differently. If you begin with doubt and fear, everything feels heavier. So today, let's start with faith. Say this softly. Thank you, God, for this new day. Again, thank you for giving me strength, purpose, and peace. Feel those words in your heart. Faith is not only what you believe, it's also what you speak. Your words have power. When you speak with faith, you create a positive rhythm in your life. Let's practice together. Repeat these sentences after me. I trust that something good will happen today. I believe every challenge is helping me grow. I am ready for the blessings coming my way. Beautiful. Let's talk about one of the hardest but most important lessons. Letting go of control. Many times we think we must control every detail, how things happen, when they happen, and what the outcome will be. But control creates stress while trust creates peace. There's a story about a man named Daniel. He wanted everything in his life to go exactly as he planned. He made schedules, lists, goals. Everything had to be perfect. But one by one, his plans started falling apart. A project failed, his car broke down, and even his closest friend moved away. He was frustrated and asked, "Why does nothing work the way I want?" Then one evening, his grandmother said something that changed his life. She said, "Daniel, maybe nothing is working your way because it's supposed to work God's way." Those words opened his heart. He stopped fighting and started flowing. He began to say this every morning, "God, I don't understand everything, but I trust you." Slowly, peace replaced his anxiety. Opportunities started appearing, not because he forced them, but because he made space for them. Repeat this. I let go of control and trust God's timing. Now again, slower. I trust God's timing. You see, trust doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing your best and then resting in faith, knowing that the result is in bigger hands than yours. Let's learn a few new words. Control, the act of trying to manage everything. Flow, to move naturally without resistance. Timing, the right moment for something to happen. Surrender, to stop fighting and start trusting. Now repeat this line, when I surrender, I make space for miracles. Excellent. There was another woman named Maria who always wanted to start her own bakery. She was talented and passionate about baking, but she was scared. She thought, what if I fail? What if no one comes to buy? For years she waited for the perfect moment, but that moment never came. One day, after praying, she felt a strong voice in her heart say, "Start now, even if it's small." So she started selling cupcakes from her home. The first week she sold only 4. The second week she sold 12. Then someone posted about her cupcakes on social media. And soon, people from all over town were ordering. Maria smiled and said, "When I finally trusted God's plan, doors opened I didn't even knock on." Say this. When I trust, doors open. That's the truth. When you take a step in faith, the path begins to appear. But when you wait for everything to be perfect, you stay still. Let's do a short speaking exercise. Repeat after me with energy. I will take small steps with big faith. I am ready for new beginnings. God's plan is already unfolding for me. You're doing great. Now let's talk about patience, the quiet strength of faith. Patience is not waiting with frustration. It's waiting with peace. Imagine a farmer planting seeds. He doesn't dig them up every day to see if they're growing. He trusts the process. You too must trust your process. Say this. I trust the process. Now again. My seeds are growing even when I can't see them. Wonderful. There was once a teacher who told her students, a delay doesn't mean denial. She explained that sometimes God delays your dream to protect you, prepare you, or position you better. When you understand this, waiting becomes easier. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, prepare me. Say it, don't ask why me, ask prepare me. That's a powerful mindset shift. It turns pain into purpose. Now, let's learn a few important words: patience, the ability to wait calmly; process, the steps that lead to a result; mindset, the way you think and view life; purpose, the deeper reason behind what happens. Repeat this sentence: my mindset is faithful, and my purpose is growing every day. Perfect. Let's talk about something that often confuses people: faith versus feelings. Feelings go up and down like waves. One day you feel strong, the next you feel weak, but faith stays steady, even when feelings change. You can feel afraid and still have faith. You can feel lost and still believe that God knows the way. Say this: my faith is stronger than my feelings. Again, my faith stands even when my feelings fall. Good. That's maturity. When you live by what you believe, not by what you feel. Now, here's a short vocabulary recap to help your fluency. Control, flow, timing, surrender, patience, process, mindset, purpose, feelings. So let's mix English learning and motivation together. I learn with joy. I grow with faith. I move with purpose. I speak with confidence. Well done. Before we close this section, I want to remind you of something powerful. The story is not over yet. Whatever feels delayed or difficult right now is part of a bigger design. You're not behind. You're being built. You're not forgotten. You're being prepared. Say this final set of affirmations with full faith. I am exactly where I need to be. Trust the timing of my life. I believe God has a bigger plan for me. I am ready for what's next. That's the spirit. You're not only learning English, you're building faith, peace, and courage inside your heart. Every journey has a turning point, a moment when everything finally makes sense. For some people, it happens suddenly. For others, it unfolds slowly, like the sunrise. But one day you look back and realize that every tear, every delay, and every unanswered prayer was part of something divine. It wasn't random. It was preparation. Say this softly: everything that happened was preparing me for something greater. Now again with confidence: everything that happened was preparation. When you understand that truth, peace begins to fill your heart. You no longer fight the past. You learn from it. You no longer rush the future. You trust it. And that's when real faith begins. When you choose peace over panic, trust over fear, and purpose over pain. Let's learn a few new words together. Preparation, getting ready for something important. Divine, it's something connected to God or higher power. Peace, a calm, quiet feeling inside. Trust, belief that everything will work out for your good. Repeat slowly: I live in peace. I trust that my life has purpose. I am being prepared for something beautiful. Good. Now, let's talk about signs. Sometimes God speaks to you through small moments. A conversation, a quote, a dream, or even a song you randomly hear. When your heart is open, you begin to notice these signs. They remind you that you're not walking alone. For example, one young woman named Hannah was struggling with anxiety. Every day she prayed, God, please show me that you're with me. One morning she walked past a park and saw a small child trying to fly a kite. The wind wasn't strong, so the kite kept falling, but the child didn't give up. He laughed, tried again, and finally the kite rose high into the sky. Hannah smiled through tears. She realized that faith works the same way. You keep trying even when the wind is weak. Say this: I will keep trying, even when the wind is weak. That's how God's plan reveals itself. Through persistence, not perfection. Let's repeat some key words to practice pronunciation and memory. Anxiety, feeling worried or nervous. Persistence, continuing even when it's hard. Strength, power to keep going. Faith, and believing without seeing. Now repeat: my faith gives me strength to persist through every storm. Excellent. Have you noticed something? Throughout this journey, every story, Ethan's, Lily's, Sophia's, Maria's, had one thing in common. They didn't understand the plan at first. They cried, doubted, and felt lost. But when they chose faith over fear, everything began to shift. That's not magic, that's faith in motion. And today you are part of that same story. You are growing in two ways, in your language and in your spirit. You are learning to speak English clearly and to speak hope fluently. Say this with pride. I speak hope fluently. Beautiful. Now let's take a moment to reflect. What have you learned about faith? You've learned that it's not about having all the answers. It's about trusting the one who does. You've learned that patience is powerful, that waiting is not wasted, and that every delay carries a lesson. Say this slowly. My waiting is not wasted. Every time you feel behind, remind yourself, you are right on time. You are walking your own path, and God is walking with you. Let's repeat a few more affirmations for your heart and your fluency. I am not behind. I am being prepared. I am not lost. I am being guided. I am not broken. I am being rebuilt. Wonderful. Now let's imagine a moment. You're standing at a crossroads in life. You don't know which way to go. The left path looks safe. The right path looks uncertain. But something inside you whispers, trust me. That whisper is your faith. You take the first step, not because you see the whole road, but because you believe the road will appear as you walk. That is faith in action. That is courage. Say this, I walk by faith, not by sight. Excellent. Let's learn a few final words together. Courage, the strength to do something even when you're afraid. Guidance, direction or help from God. Journey, your life path or story. Hope, the belief that better days are coming. Now repeat this paragraph slowly for practice. My journey is guided by faith. I walk with courage, I live with hope, and I trust God's guidance every step of the way. You're doing amazing. Now before we close this lesson, let's talk about gratitude one last time. Gratitude is the language of faith. When you thank God before the blessing arrives, you open the door for miracles. So today, let's thank Him for the past that taught you, the present that shapes you, and the future that awaits you. Say this aloud. Thank you, God, for where I've been, where I am, and where I'm going. Feel those words. That's peace. Now let's connect everything we've learned in one final affirmation sequence. Repeat each sentence slowly, with your hand on your heart. I believe God has a bigger plan for my life. I trust that everything happening now has purpose. I release fear and welcome faith. I am patient, grateful, and hopeful. I am ready for new beginnings. Take a deep breath in and out. You've come so far, not just through this story, but through your own journey. You've practiced new words, repeated powerful sentences, and learned to see your life with faith and strength. Every time you choose to believe instead of doubt, you grow. Every time you choose to speak life instead of fear, you move closer to your purpose. And say this one last time, God's plan for me is good, and I believe in it with all my heart. Yes, you do. And remember, no matter what happens next, your story isn't over. Every morning brings a new chance, a new chapter, a new beginning. Keep your heart open, your words kind, and your faith strong. You're not alone on this path. The same God who guided Ethan, Lily, Sophia, Maria, Daniel, and Hannah is guiding you too. Right now, in this very moment. So walk forward with peace in your heart, light in your eyes, and faith in your steps. Speak confidently, live courageously, and remember this truth wherever you go. God has a bigger plan for you. Believe in Him. Say it one last time with all your heart. God has a bigger plan for me, and I believe in Him.